Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Married at First Sight, Season 14, Episode 15. Decision day is already around the corner. So in this episode, the couples get to take each other back to where they grew up and sort of have write a letter to their younger self, which I always find very revealing and very telling in how open the person is. I'll start off with with Jasmina and Michael. For me, Jasmina and Michael, I'm sort of cautiously proceeding with my excitement for them, because after what Merla did, where she got everybody so excited that she was going to stay with Gil and then flip the script last minute, I'm a bit on the fence with them. But I'm happy that they're moving in the right direction. I'm happy that they're opening up to one another and they're having, those important conversations and making sure the other person understands the person they're dealing with, understands the person they're married to. And I think that will help them make a more informed decision on decision day, because Jasmina at this point knows as much as is needed really about Michael's backstory, how he grew up, his parents, his siblings, and how he lost his family members. And I like the fact that he's very vulnerable. I hope Jasmina appreciates Michael for how he has been able to open himself up. He comes across as a very caring guy. He comes across as very empathetic, which are qualities you want in a partner. And he comes across as very patient as well. And I think sitting down with Dr. Pepper was good for them, and even she appreciated. This is where I like Dr. Pepper in the sense that she's able to have the uncomfortable conversations and make the couples feel comfortable enough to sort of open up and express themselves without feeling judged or feeling sort of belittled or whatever. And I have to give Jasmina credit that she is opening up, or maybe the editing is showing her opening up and sort of how she talked about her upbringing and her parents leaving her. And I think it allowed Michael to sort of get a fuller picture of the person he's married to and an appreciation of why she does or she behaves a certain way. And so I was happy with that. And even with their home visit, you can see that they're becoming more connected in the sense that they sort of have these subtle gestures where they'll hold hands or they'll touch the other person or they'll glance across to the other person. And I like the production, the editing. The editing from Married at First Sight. If the participants are saying something, always look at their non-verbals, because their body language will say way more than what they're saying. Because Jasmine is still saying that she's not attracted to Michael, she doesn't feel anything, but her body language is saying otherwise. So I don't know whether it's being said for storyline or whether that's the truth. I've said before that the way they're sitting on the clip we saw of Decision Day, I have a slight inkling, I think 75% sort of feeling that they're going to both say yes. If there's any couple that I would cheer on to say yes on decision day, it's Jasmine and Michael. I think maybe away from the cameras, they can actually, because yes, there was the issue with communication, but their relationship has not been as toxic as some of the couples we've seen on Married at First Sight. If I always say this, if Jamie and Doug can still be married to today, then anyone else can be married, and Jasmine and Michael can be married and have a very successful marriage if they continue to put in the work. And from there, we move on to Noy and Steve. Noy and Steve, for me, are another couple like Jasmine and Michael, who were my favorite. Both couples were my favorite at the start of the season. And for me, I think Noy and Steve are sort of in the same boat as Jasmine and Michael, in the sense that I think for storyline purposes, they keep going on about this, not working and social media, because outside of it, you really don't see any other issues that you'd say, oh, these are major red flags that would say this marriage won't work. And so I like the fact that Steve took her to his family home. And yes, you can see the difference in how they grew up. And at times that difference is why couples will always have issues in a lack of understanding or appreciation or ability to empathize with their partner. I didn't get Noy saying, okay, I understand her saying she was not allowed to express herself. And I'm not sure whether this is why, as adults, her and her brother seem to have found ways of expressing themselves, even though as children they're not able to express themselves. I like the fact, personally, I think, I think Michael is a great husband on this season. I think Steve is a great husband on this season. And Mark the Shark, I'm on the fence with him, in the sense that they come across as very patient with their wives. They come across as very loving with their wives. They come across as very empathetic, as though they are very empathetic in the sense that they are able to appreciate where their wife is coming from and are able to not judge them for that. So that when Noise took Steve to the studio, he could have easily said, no, this is not my thing. But he really put in the effort and he really put the time to sort of learn, because he understood how important it was to his wife. And he understands that at times in a relationship, you have to compromise, which I found very endearing and very heartwarming. So I really hope, if nothing else, there are couples that I can see saying yes on decision day. I really hope, if nothing else, Jasmine and Michael, Noy and Steve say yes on decision day, because I can really see the future for them. From there, we move on to Mark and Lindsay. Mark and Lindsay, for me, I've always said this, Mark and Lindsay, when they're good, they're good. When they're bad, they're bad. Lindsay is very loving. Lindsay is very supportive. And you've seen every time Mark has faced a challenge, she has risen to the challenge. Yes, I think because she's used to being in control, at times she sort of fails to disengage. For me, it comes across as she's someone who's got a very responsible job, and at times we are not able to sort of separate the work person from the married person. And I think this is why she's used to doing things, and she doesn't realize that at times you need to take a step back and allow people to do things for themselves. And this is why they're sort of in constant battle with Mark, because Mark is trying to move at his own pace, whereas Lindsay, because she's used to going 100 miles an hour, she just wants Mark to sort of either run 100 miles an hour or hold on for dear life and hope they get to the finish line. And so I think why I said I'm on the fence with them saying yes on decision day. If we were to focus on the qualities of loving, Lindsay's very loving, Lindsay's very supportive. In certain circumstances, she's very empathetic today. Empathetic is my word of the day. Because she's able to appreciate and understand and provide support when Mark's had to be put down. From a healthcare professional standpoint, she understood what it means and was able to sort of guide him through that. But then at times, I think it's just a bit too much, as Mike said. And she was saying maybe there's someone who will like me for... I think people will always have an issue with the fact that she, at times, in her way of showing love, it's a bit too much and it sort of overpowers the other person. So I think if they're going to stay married, she needs to really watch and rewatch episodes of Married at First Sight and see how she came across and try and put in the work or understand why she does that and see if there's a way that she can sort of moderate that. And she and Mark will have a happy marriage, in my opinion. And then from there, we went to Olajuwon and Katina. Olajuwon and Katina, for me, offer them advice. I really don't know. For me, for them to say yes on decision day, I know I read somewhere that they said yes. They would really need a lot of work, because unlike all the other husbands, even Mark included, they're able to appreciate their wives. They're able to understand, and if their wife expresses a need, they're able to sort of rise to the challenge. Whereas ever since Olajuwon got married, all we've heard is what he wants. We've never heard him say what Katina wants and what he is doing to make sure that she gets what she wants. And this is where the problem lies, because she can't go to she's doing her bachelor's degree, she wants to go to nursing school, this is for the betterment of of him and her as a couple. He can't bring in his baggage from his previous partner into this marriage, or previous relationships into this marriage, and because he will never get anyone who's perfect. At least she's doing something to better herself. She's not sitting there saying, I married a guy with a home, with money, I don't need to go to school. She's doing this for the betterment of herself. You can't have children and this. For me, Olajuwon, whether it's the editing or whatever, he is giving them the footage for them to edit it that way. It's not like they're scrambling. I know when he's on the after party, he comes across as this great guy and stuff, but I think it's because he's realized where he's gone wrong. And the fact that Dr. Pepper was woman enough, I salute her, hats off to her, to go and sit down with him after all the rubbish she said last week. I would not have sat down with him. I would have sent somebody else, maybe Pastor Carl, to go and speak to him, because it's unacceptable for you to belittle me. And I think Katina spoke to him because the way he was saying, oh, I appreciate, somebody must have spoken to him, or he was embarrassed after it, or Pastor Carl must have pulled him aside and said, this is unacceptable, you will not talk to anyone like this. Because suddenly he went from being, oh, Dr. Pepper has nothing to offer me, to suddenly, oh, I appreciate her, she will help me. And it's like, if only you knew how many marriages on Married at First Sight she's saved by providing counseling, let alone in whatever job she does, you'd listen to her, because some people might pay money for her. You're getting it for free by just being on the show. So I don't know. Anyway, I digress and I mumble and I go off on a tangent. But anyway, thanks guys for watching. See you next time. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye everyone.